Hey guys, it's Brick Thunder, and today we're going to be unboxing, setting up, and doing a demo of the Lowe's Halloween 2023 9-foot Groundbreaker Zombie. Okay, so first of all, huge thank you to Lowe's for sending me this guy. This guy is probably my favorite of the non-pneumatics. Now, this thing is huge, and it's just the half body, awesome concept, and definitely some of the largest proportions we've ever seen on a retail animatronic. So I have seen it when I went to do the Lowe's tour, but I have not set it up here yet, so we're going to be doing that for the first time. But first, we got to unbox it, so here we go. All right, let's open this thing up. So this is a sample box. This is not the box you're going to be seeing these things ship in. So it will be a different size. It is shown in my main video, and it looks to be a bit longer and a bit shorter. So it should be able to fit in a car and fit through a door, while this one cannot. So let's see. We have the first hand right here. This is the hand that attaches onto the tombstone to rock it back and forth. We put that one down here. We have our second hand here. Let's see if this is free. I think it should be free enough to take out now. And this one is actually attached to the lantern. So here it is. That is the main piece right there, hand and lantern. And it has the metal to actually attach there, which is pretty cool. Not plastic, so that will not break. So we can put that down here. That can just rest down on the lantern. Lantern's all bloody too, which is pretty cool. Next, we have a spine piece right here. This thing goes up past the torso, and you can see it behind it. And it is a full sculpt, although the back of it is just the white. You won't really be able to tell at all. There we go. We have some clothing. This guy is made by Techie. They did amazing with the clothing here. This is all super high quality. Now this looks to be just a main piece of gray, but then there's also pieces for like the arms, stuff like that. That's all stuffed and really nice quality. Also got a ton of creepy cloth on there, as you can see. Here is one of the arms right here. This is similar to how the Exterminator is done. I'm not sure if I own any others by Techie that do this, but how it is it actually just connects to the top, and then this is just a small metal wire you can bend. So it does form the arm shape, but it's not a super strong metal arm, so that when it rocks, it can actually move the arm instead of just be still. So next we have a rib cage piece right here. There's this rib cage, huge, probably the largest rib cage out of any of the animatronics. Yeah, probably. I think Underworld has one that is pretty large, but other than that, that is definitely the largest. We have the tombstone right here. This thing is probably like 3.5, 4 feet tall, and that's crazy. This thing is huge. Looks awesome too, very detailed. It is a flat back mold right there. That is the cloth on the back, but gray cloth, so even from the back you won't really be able to tell, but really cool sculpt there. Great design, great paint as well. Then it has the dirt at the bottom, so it blends into the ground. And it stands by itself too. I just noticed that. That's not even leaning. Next we have the head. This thing is absolutely massive. This is about the same height as Cackle's head, which is the previous largest proportion in retail, but it's definitely wider. Look at that. It's definitely wider. Very cool. Awesome detail as well. The paint, the eyes look great, and then the sculpt is awesome. Now we have a ton of metal. We have one more piece that's not, which is just some excess clothing. This might go down by the base. I know there's a covering for the mechanism somewhere, but the rest is all metal, and there's a lot of different pieces here. So his poles are the biggest I've ever seen. Here is the hip piece, it seems, and there are 3 poles going up to the hips, and then here is where the body pole is, and this thing is huge. So you can tell by that already how big these poles are going to be getting. Next we have a body piece right here. There it is, giant. This is all metal. It's got pins in there. Really like the pins a lot. That's really nice because snap locks are pretty great too, but these definitely seem stronger, and snap locks can break. We have, let's see, some leg poles it seems. We also have a ton for the base. Like this could be a base type thing. Definitely seems like it may be with this. I'm not really sure how the tombstone connects yet, but it does have to be hinged in some way. So we'll see about that. Next, we have some more poles. Again, another one that looks like it may be for the base. We have 2 more leg poles right there, or more like hip poles since it's the half body. We have definitely a base piece right here. This is a piece that goes, oh, actually, it's connected to his mechanism down here. This is a piece that goes to the tombstone to light it up. Right there, you can see the light, and then here is the mechanism that actually rocks that tomb. That is not in his arm, it is attached to the base. Next, we have the 2 pieces that go on the hips. These just give it padding so it looks more natural. Those down there, although they do have metal in them to support. We have the base that just fell there. Keep that up for a second before we take it out. Here is his control box, along with another leg pole, it seems. Adapters plugged in there, and that is all of what it can do. It does have waterproof coverings, meaning you can keep this guy outside, which is great for the size. You don't want to be bringing this in every single night. Then we have his base. This is, I would say, most similar to the 15-foot Phantom with the shape of it. And it looks like it has 3 poles that go outwards. And those all probably do something. I'm not sure if they're all just for support. There's at least one that goes to the tomb. And then we have one more normal pole down here. But then we have a very, very large body pole right here. There it is. Awesome. Huge. And then our final piece here is this huge, huge shoulder piece, which is covered in foam to give it a padding. And this is going to go under the clothing to give him that full bulked out form to look even more natural. Other than instructions, that is all of our parts right there. So let's get to the setup. Here we go. All right, let's begin our setup. So we're just going to match the letters to letters. Starting over here, we have A to A, which is just a base support. Next, let's get B connected over here. B is going in front, and this is what actually holds that tombstone, and that is the piece that hinges it. So then it can rock back and forth. Next, we have R, which is over here. We have this piece which extends and has a light. That light is what lights up the tomb, and then there's also a connection over here to the tombstone rocker, because the tombstone is actually at an angle. You may have noticed that, and that is because there are 2 pieces here, one which is way higher than the other, and that gives it that angled hinge ability, so then it can rock at that angle. So now we can snap these in like that, and this is already a super complex and pretty crazy base. But we're going to make it even crazier here. We're going to add the mechanism here. This is T to T, a bit out of order, but it doesn't matter because this is going to just snap on there, and that will stay out of the way. So it's not something we have to wait to do. But now what we want to do is we want to get our leg poles attached. So we have the C poles up front, C and C. Doesn't matter what side they go on, they're both labeled the same. So they are the same poles. There we go. That's one snapped in. We have our other one over here. But then there is one that is labeled differently, which is the D pole over here. And that has the control box on it, as you can see. So I already have the adapter plugged into that as well. But that is just going to snap down like that. And there we go. So the hips are obviously coming out of the ground. So they are a bit lower on a prop like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach this piece, which is where the hips lay. And then we will work up. I'm actually going to have to move the camera before we keep going, because then we're going to the torso pieces. For now, let's just click all of these in, slowly work down each side until they click like that. Now they're all clicked in, and this thing is looking pretty amazing. This is definitely the most complex base I've seen on a retail prop. All right, so let's move the camera up and we'll continue up with the torso. All right, so next we have H and G. These are the pieces that form that hip shape, and then we can get our clothing on to cover these hips. So we're going to get the piece of clothing that has the elastic band. We're just going to cover all of this with the band down here so that we can then attach the next pole right there. So this all can then spread and cover the base as much as it needs to. We can always just adjust that later if we need to. Now we can get our next pole on, which is eye to eye right here. Then we can pin that in. All right, so that pin is now in. We can then take the whole torso piece up here. And actually, quickly, before we do that, we want to get this piece on, or else we wouldn't be able to. So we have the spine piece right here, and this is just going to slide down. Now you can tell what way it goes just because there's an arrow in the back. Let me spin that around so you can see. Arrow right there pointing up. So just make sure that is facing the correct way. And now we can put on this torso piece, and this is what holds the rib cage. All right, we have that pin clicked in now, and now what we can do is get that rib cage on. So we'll take this and connect it to these 3 points. We have M over here on his left side, and then on his right side over here we have L, and then once I have the ladder to do the next piece, we will connect that top one. Okay, so now I have the ladder, and what we can do here is attach the shoulder piece. So this is just 3 prongs that slide in, and then 1 loop that wraps around the main pole. And then what we can also do is attach that piece I was just talking about, K to fully complete the rib cage. Now we can drape over his clothing up here, and you can also put on the head first if you want to, but just to make it easier, I'm going to do the clothing first. And then what we can do here is attach these Velcros up front to cover this foam piece, and then there's some Velcros on the sides down here that just attach to the rib cage. All right, now that we have the clothing on, we can thread this wire down and then attach the head. So this piece is just going to sit in here, and then there's a pin. All right, so there we go. Head is in and the pin is in the head. Awesome, super tall. So now let's get these arms on. So we have the actual static arm, and this is the one with the lantern right here. And this is going on his left arm. All right, so that snap locks like that. And then we have 2 sleeves, one labeled left, and that's the one we're going to be using right now. Then we have the right one that is a bit different. So let's slide this up here. And then what we want to do with this is just Velcro up to the top. So there's this long Velcro that goes around the entire shoulder here, and then the rest is going to be covered by this cloth in a bit. And I can adjust all of that off camera just to make it look perfect. There we go. These are actually pretty nice looking arms for not having foam. It looks pretty filled in. And now what we can do with this side is attach our lantern. So this is the hand with the lantern. It's all pre-attached like this. And this is just going to snap lock in here. Then there's also a Velcro to keep that clothing up. And again, can adjust that in a bit as well. All right, so now with this side, like I said, it's a bit different. So we're going to attach Q to Q here. And then as you can see, this one is just a wire. It's not something that's going to stay in place, but it will keep a form if you need it to. So what we can do now is do the same thing with the sleeve. The sleeve is all basically the same. We're just going to slide it up and Velcro. But then the next steps are a bit different. So what we're going to do is move the camera down and attach the tombstone, and then attach that tombstone to the arm. All right, so this is all going to Velcro like that. And again, can adjust this clothing just to cover that all. So there we go. Now we're going to move the camera down so we can attach this to the tombstone, and then we'll adjust everything after that. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to slide this main pole down the tombstone, and this thing, it has a pin in the back. So that pin, what it can do is attach to this right here, which is the mechanism piece, and then it'll be going against metal, pushing that metal back and forth instead of just plastic, because you'd definitely rather have metal right there. All right, so now what we can do is put this over here. This is going to slide into the hinges here, and then we can attach that pin I was just talking about. All right, so what I did to attach these hinges is actually just undo the base a bit and then pull it back in. Now, as you can see, it's on the hinge. So what we can do now is I'm going to bring you around so we can attach this pin, and then that basically completes our setup other than the hand that's on the tomb. All right, so here's what it looks like from the back. So we have those hinges down here connecting that, and then right here what I had to do was pull this pin out and then reattach. So what you're going to want to do here is make sure one washer is on this side, one washer is in the middle, and then one over here. And then the pin can attach there, and this is going to rock the tombstone back and forth. All right, and then our final step here is just attaching the hand, which slides through the back. This is a metal pole that goes down. You're going to push it down in place, and then you just attach the snap lock like that, which completes the hand. And then all we have to do here is attach that metal wire that runs through this arm to here, which is just a little hook, hooks on like that. And then the final thing is just doing the Velcro. All right, he's all wired up, ready to go. Let's plug him in. All right, so there he was, the 9-foot groundbreaker zombie from Lowe's. So when I initially saw this, it was either between this or the Scarecrow. And I think this thing definitely wins now that I've seen how it's built and how massive it is. You really have to see this thing in person, and this is definitely going to be something that is in stores. So try to, because it is amazing. Videos definitely don't do it justice, and just the proportions of this thing are unlike anything we've really seen at all. I also think the movement was very smart. It's a very large movement. Moving this 4-foot tomb back and forth is awesome. The amount of lights, as you could see in that demo as well, is super cool. I love that they shined a light on the tombstone. Definitely something that wasn't needed, but is an awesome added bonus. And then the chest and eyes look really cool. And the lantern also is great. Love the flickering effect inside of that. So this thing is $598, being the most expensive item at Lowe's this year. I do think it is a lot, but for someone who wants a piece that is definitely a staple of their display, it's definitely a worth it price. This looks like something you would see at a professional convention or at an amusement park, and $600 is a lot for a retail item, but you got a really professional look here and a very professional build. This thing will hold up outside for sure. Super impressed with the quality. But yeah, there he was. Again, huge thank you to Lowe's for sending me this guy, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.